Welcome into this episode of the Bass Pro Shops Fisherman's Handbook. Today's show is extra special as Wade, Angel, and Gentry have traveled from the United States all the way over to South Africa for a trip full of great hunting, fishing, sightseeing, and outdoor adventures. On this episode, we'll highlight a fishing trip of a lifetime to the Eastern Cape that Wade was able to embark on as he crossed several species of fish off his bucket list.
All right, so we've got this little tackle set of tube here, basically 2 rods and a bunch of fishing gear that we have traveled from San Antonio, Texas to South Africa with on a quest to catch some fish that I really don't even know anything about them. So we're gonna get out and wet a line. We're gonna rig all of our gear up. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. We got great guides, and Carl, our PH, his long-term friend Keith is gonna be with us. They're gonna kind of guide us through this. And for me, it's gonna just be really neat to go fishing in a country that I never thought I'd go fishing in, but it was really a big part of the safari trip that we went on this year. And now we're gonna go get on the water. Well, it's early in the morning, and this is not something I've ever done. Really didn't think it'd be something that I would ever do, but I always dreamed of fishing in South Africa. I'm out here with Carl and Keith. This is a river that meant a lot to them in their life growing up, and they actually dreamed of doing what we're doing now with making a fishing show here. And I think this river, in listening to them, really kind of defined a lot of their early years, and now even as they're older, they love everything about it. So we're gonna try to catch some grunters, some cob.
Absolutely.
And what else?
Cape stump nose.
Cape stump nose?
Yeah.
I've never caught any of those, so it doesn't, you could lie to me that I've caught a giant on any of them, and a skipjack maybe even.
Yeah,
You caught your personal best yesterday.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Strong little fellows.
They are incredible.
Get that big old flat body turned sideways, don't they? Yeah, same.
It's a grunty.
Is
Well
it?
done. There you go. That's a good omen.
That's a good grunty. Oh my gosh. That is cool. Got it.
A little bit of towel
Okay.
in the bucket. In the
Now listen at him. That's the way you call it a grunter. Huh?
Yeah, that's the grunter.
What a gorgeous
Spotted
fish.
Yeah.
The spotted grunter. What a cool name, first off. And what a pretty fish. We caught some small ones and we caught some big ones. When you get them up to the boat, I mean, you're first looking at this big, long, funky looking nose. They kind of tail and pull the prawns up out of the sand, and they, you know, great fighters. It's supposed to be incredibly good table fare. We didn't keep any. We let everything we caught go. And as you caught them, the fights are in the feel is totally different of everything. But that was one of the fish on my list that I've never caught. It was a bucket list fish to me to check off, because I don't know, you know, I hope to float this river again in my life, but I may never be able to. Oh, that's a big spotted.
Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful grunty. Oh my word. Absolute monster.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, they get that body turned sideways, they can do some. Come here.
Quickie. Got it.
Got him down. That's a good one.
That's
wow,
a serious grunter, boy.
Pound for pound, that's a fighter. That's a fighter.
Incredible.
You know, from the fishing gear standpoint, for me, I packed very simple. I brought a couple of 2-piece, you know, fishing rods, the same kind of rods that you see me use often for bass fishing. I you know, rigged them up with 20-pound Sunline braid. I put 10 and 16-pound fluorocarbon leaders, FC Sniper on them. I put jig heads and from Big Bite Baits and soft plastic sensations from Big Bite Baits, and then we used a Gamakatsu circle hook for the prawns, and it was just about as simple as you possibly could. I mean, my entire tackle box was about that big, and I carried it all in a very portable travel case to get here. So anybody that's looking for adventures like this, it's not hard to overthink. You don't need a ton of gear to find success.
Beautiful little top. Awesome. Look at that.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Those are such pretty fish.
Absolutely beautiful.
Sun lights him up real good here.
Yeah.
Time for our first break in the show. On the other side, we'll continue highlighting Wade's trip to South Africa and the many different types of fish the team caught. Stay tuned for more great sights and sounds from the Eastern Cape of South Africa.
When you get to go to pristine places and really soak in everything about them, it's a true adventure, and it's something I think I appreciate a lot more now than I ever have before. I think before I was probably too caught up in the race of getting there, catching as many fish as I can, and now it's like, man, just being able to float down the river and listen at the monkeys and watch the birds and the wildlife and the drag screaming of somebody else catching a fish. I mean, all of that is just all a great part of the adventure, and this fishing trip was really one of those.
As well.
Here we go, right? Yo, this one's going around the way.
The cob, what a cool fish. I mean, the cob is, I mean, to me, there's a lot of similarities, in my opinion, to it in a redfish, and how it's kind of lays out and kind of how it looks, really kind of probably even how it feels. And unfortunately, some of the challenge that they're dealing with is over here are some of the things that redfish dealt with on the coasts of Louisiana and Texas and Florida and all those places before organizations like the CCA got involved, and that's the loss of habitat, over commercialization of the fish, you know, which is harvesting too many of them, not protecting the assets enough. And you really get a sense from Carl and Keith on what they would love to see happen with the cob. But you talk about a fighting fish that was really impressive. When I caught that big one, you could just see their eyes light up like it's the first time they'd been fishing. That's awesome.
That is beautiful.
Okay, Wade, so this is by far my favorite fish in the whole world. This is called a cob. Afrikaners call it a kabeljo, and it's basically a salmon species.
Okay.
So it is, unfortunately, because of commercial fishing, it's quite severely endangered now. So there's a big conservation effort on these specific fish going on currently. So
there's groups that are trying to bring them back. See, our redfish were almost fished to extinction. And the Coastal Conservation Association, which this fish kind of reminds me of a red, they built it back, and it was commercial fishing and put protections in place.
absolutely. So
That's a pretty special. I mean, I can tell the difference of how you guys reacted.
100%. It's such a special fish, and I'm going to hand him to you. But they only reach sexual maturity when they're 10 kgs. Okay. These guys. So he will be relatively resident to this river, but they come up here to spawn. And that's a beautiful fish. Beautiful fish. I mean, he's probably a good 3 kilo, 2.5, 3 kilo fish, and
It's heavy.
he is just in perfect condition. Obviously, plenty food in the river. My absolute favorite fish to catch, without a doubt whatsoever. So you can catch him in the estuaries and offshore. More offshore, but the estuary guys, I mean, we're targeting these smaller fish, which are just absolutely great fun. And especially on the artificial, there Carl's on again, the artificials, they jump onto an artificial. They're almost like a bass. They sort of ambush predators and very aggressive. So we catch a lot of these tiny little guys like Carl's just caught, but we've caught them up to 12 kgs, up to 25 pounds in this estuary. So I mean, you just never know what you're going to get, and we've caught quite a number of fish now, sort of in the sort of vicinity of about 1 meter. And I'll tell you one thing, that's the dream fish in this estuary for me. Oh, that's a good fish.
Hey! That's a good one.
Good job.
You know, Keith and Carl's history on this lake is well known. They've been here a long time, and Keith's dad is like the riverman. He's the legend of this river. He's done so many things here, knows every inch of it, kind of taught the boys different things, and some of the stories they told that I'm not going to repeat because it might get them in trouble, even though they're all in their 40s now, are really cool to hear about what this river means to them, their family, and really everybody that we met here. I mean, we had a guy come up to us and give us prawns, and we ran into him in the town today, and we were swapping fishing stories. And those are neat things and adventures that really make a fishing trip or a hunting trip or a combination one like what we're doing here just that much better.
Through our parents, also Carl's been coming to Kenton since probably forever, Carl, since you were born really. And our parents are good friends, and used to fish together. So Carl and I met like literally from when I can remember, probably 3-4 years old, and Carl, what would you, 7 or 8 years old, and started fishing together. And then initially you only had to be 12 years old to be able to use a boat up to 5 horsepower on these estuaries. So Carl and I, from when he was 12, we started fishing together on this river, and every opportunity we got, we were together on this river. So we've spent many, I wouldn't call them wasted hours, but lazy hours on this river, having the absolute best time, eh?
Okay, Keithy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, it's a good one. Oh my goodness. Gentle here, but gentle.
Watch me, Keithy.
Closer, closer. Yes, God. Ah, your first one. Yes, man. I told you I'd get you one this week. Well done, well done, well done, well done.
I've got it. Okay,
You've got it.
and there we go. A skippy. Pretty spectacular and
A monster.
a monster.
Carlo's dream fish.
My dream fish right there. Thanks, Keithy. Cheers,
Well
mate.
done.
You know, a skipjack or a ladyfish, you know, both of them are common names that we use in Texas. I mean, they've been referred to as the poor man's tarpon for some time. They're long, they're silverish, they've got a real hard mouth. They're great fighters. They jump and sky real fast. You usually get 3-4 jumps out of them. They love to catch them over here. I mean, and especially because they've got bigger ones than I've ever encountered or that I've caught along the Texas-Louisiana coast. And so they're throwing soft plastics for them a lot of time, bucktail jigs or, you know, a 3/4 or 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce like big bite jig head with a sensation on it, or the prawns, and they're kind of hopping along like we do for a lot of our saltwater fish. And when they bite, it's much like ours. The chase and the drag is both screaming and on.
Yeah, Skippy.
big skippy.
I lost them.
Ah,
No, he's swimming towards you, swimming towards you.
he's still on. So calm out there now, you can see every ripple of the fight.
I reckon you can probably see him with that drone as well,
Yeah,
because he's
I bet
right,
he can.
right near the surface. I just can't believe the size of them this year. The average size is way bigger than what we used to.
Yeah, these are big. I mean, we don't
These
ever
are, I mean,
catch
these
them
are
this size.
serious.
Yeah, these truly are the poor man's tarpon.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, these are significantly
Yeah,
better.
we will.
Oh, that is so pretty. Doesn't get much better to start the days.
Okay, there we go.
Yay!
Yes, Carlo, that is another magnificent skippy.
Hey? Wait,
Oh,
isn't
man,
that
oh,
just
man.
magnificent, eh?
That's awesome.
Magnificent.
That is awesome.
Why'd you get in here for a picture? Wait.
Yeah, please.
Why'd you just get in here?
You know, when you go on a trip like this, a lot of times a big part of the enjoyment is everybody that's going to be involved in it. Obviously, you build a relationship with your professional hunters, your guides, and those situations, and all the staff, and everybody that's involved and around it. And then you begin to want to do other things with them while you're here. So, you know, we did a shopping trip to Kenton by the Sea with Alicia and Angel. Alicia spent a ton of time with Angel going to different adventures, and you know, we would go shopping and we would go see Mike the cheetah. Those are really big parts of a trip, and you kind of have to balance all of those things together so everybody can spend time together and share in those moments. So, you know, walking around shopping in a beachfront town is not something that's unusual for us, but we've never done it in South Africa. So, you know, watching your wife pick out a dress, pick out different little knickknacks is fun for everybody, and it makes it a mixed trip. You know, even further, we went and saw Mike the cheetah. We did a radio telemetry tracking deal at the Mountain Zebra National Park together, and that was one of the first things we checked off on our activity list that the John X team sent us, was to go look at a cheetah. I mean, if you know Angel, you know she's a cat lady and she loves those kind of things, and we were real lucky. We went up the mountain, the ranger got out 2 or 3 times, did his little telemetry thing, got the hits, and we were able to hike right up to it with everybody in our party and watch him. And to me, it looked like our house cats at home. He'd had a big night out partying, eating, and he was trying to take a nap, just waiting for us to move on. Nah, we got something that's real now. I hear a little drag going, Carl. Oh, that's positive.
I've always, Carl and I have had this thing, it's like when you're hunting together, it doesn't matter who catches the fish.
Yeah, nah, everybody.
It feels like you did it together.
Here we go.
Huh? Oh, beautiful fish.
Beautiful fish.
Ready?
That's him.
That's
Well
him.
done, Carlo.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
To start your day, eh?
Absolutely. When did you guys kind of become more into the whole understanding of the towels and conservation and protecting them? Is that passed on by your dads, or?
No. Actually, they were old school. I think, you know, when YouTube and all these things started happening, and you know, we could learn more by what other people shared.
Right.
Then we became, you know, better conservationists, fishermen, you know, so all that became, and we find that they last still as well.
Yeah.
You got less chaos then. You can actually hear him
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
giving a good old grunt, eh?
And that is a legal limit size.
Yes.
That's a keeper.
This is a keeper size, which we're obviously
so
going to let go.
In our dad's generation, that would be in the pot.
Yeah, this would be like breakfast.
Yeah.
You ready, bud?
Yep.
Cheers, chap. Come back again soon.
Thanks for the fight.
And the beauty of that is not a scale left on that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Not one out of place.
You know, as the sun rises on a place like this and the lights begin to come across the water and the mountains, and you can kind of see the sheen on the water, and you realize how clear the water is and the flow of it and what the fish are doing, and you hear a monkey in the background being, you know, chased by a predator, and there's birds coming over, and there's no other sounds out there except the, you know, sound of your line going through your spinning rod guides, and then it's broken with the zing and the telltale noise of your drag zipping. I mean, those are the reasons why so many of us like to fish, so many of us like to travel. And you know, I look at all the Facebook comments I get when we post photos over here, and it's, you know, outside of the long airplane trip to get here, everybody's like, it's the greatest adventure in the world to go to South Africa, whether it's hunting, fishing, combination of both. And it's something that's just, it's awe-inspiring and memory-making.
And with that, we'll conclude this show highlighting Wade's fishing adventures in South Africa. We'd like to extend a special thanks to Carl, Keith, and the staff at John X Safaris for helping us make a lifetime of memories fishing in the Eastern Cape. If you're thinking about planning a trip to South Africa, be sure to check out John X Safaris for a variety of hunting, fishing, and outdoor adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This has been a Kariega TV production.